beef jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Love Pro Wrestling. It's the only place you'll find lumberjacks, short kings, mad lads, and a high-flying goose. LPW 51 hits the Rec Room South Edmonton Common Friday, August 28th. After a shocking betrayal at LPW 50, Marsh the Specialist challenges Ty Jackson for the LPW Grand Championship. Plus, Rich King and lumberjack Larry Woods settled their rivalry with a last man standing match. Whether it's a family outing, date night, or drinks with friends, check out Edmonton's wildest party at Love Pro Wrestling. TixR.com/Love Wrestling.
Get ready for Dreams, the ultimate tribute to Fleetwood Mac, live October 10th at Pure Casino Yellowhead's Pearl Showroom. Relive the magic with a six-piece band delivering the authentic sound, style, and spirit of Fleetwood Mac, featuring iconic costumes, rich harmonies, and unforgettable performances of the greatest hits you love. Tickets from just $44.99. Get yours now at Ticketmaster. Don't miss Dreams, the ultimate tribute to Fleetwood Mac, October 10th at Pure Casino. Pure entertainment, pure action, and pure imagination.
I finished a 5K in 94th place, right after a man wearing jeans. Then a volunteer gave me a medal. But I don't want participation trophies, unless they're from Bet365. With their daily prize matcher game, I win by matching gold coins, cherries, and more. Take that, denim man. Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
Shaw Concrete products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, jersey barriers, and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at bashawconcrete.com. Family owned. Over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete products. Once again, start here. bashawconcrete.com.
The Lowdown with Lowtide on Sports 1440. Can you fit Sports Encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Welcome to the Lowdown. Today's show, 4 Oilers injured and will miss training camp, led by Matt Savoy. Who will replace him? Who has the best chance of making the team after the 4 injuries were announced? When will we see Stan Bowman maybe sign a forward from the free agent pile? Who could it be? Plus, Blue Jays win. The trick is not to allow any runs. CFL weekend and more straight ahead. The Lowdown with Lowtide brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick on Sports 1440 and YouTube. They're overstocked, making room with a massive summer clearance, plus employee pricing continues. Visit wolfgmcbuick.ca. On the way, headliner of the day, Jansen Denick from The Athletic, Bagged Milk from Daily Face-Off Edmonton. We mentioned we're live on Sports 1440 AM and on YouTube. We're also on Radio Player Canada, iHeartRadio, and sports1440.ca. Apple and Spotify and X/Twitter after the show, and we rock and roll for 2 hours. We're on Twitter at Lowtide, at Declan Krueger, JFenwick04, and we are going to have a good time talking about, well, all kinds of things. We've got 5 different things we're going to discuss here in 2 shakes. We're on text at 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Colleagues are Connor Spivak, second last day with us. We're going to miss him. He's an entertaining fellow and the smartest man I've ever met who doesn't shave yet. Josh Fenwick and Declan Krueger also here. Issue number 1, gentlemen. And I'll start with you, Declan. Matt Savoy injury, a bitter pill for the Oilers. Who benefits most from Savoy being out from training camp and the early part of the season?
I don't know if I would use the word most, but a guy that I think could benefit greatly would be Ike Howard.
I think that's a very fair assessment, and I also like the way you phrased it, because he's not going to penalty kill like Savoy can, but they're going to need some skill on one of the top 2 lines, yes, and he'd be the guy to go get that at 5-on-5, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. All right. What about you, Josh?
It's pretty boring, but I'm going to have to agree. Isaac Howard, because this gives him a real bona fide shot at going into the top 6 because he's needed,
Yeah.
like he's got to prove that he can keep up with Connor McDavid, because that's what Savoy's been able to do.
Yeah.
Does he need to be a PKer? No, but at minimum, he has to keep up with McDavid.
And it's like the thing about Savoy is that they brought him in and he was defense first. He played fourth line, he penalty kill, and then they moved him up. I don't think they can do it with Howard, and they've got a new coach. So there's a little bit of a more of a hurdle than there was a year ago when they eased Savoy in slowly, but he's the guy for sure. Issue two. It's like I work for the CBC now. Bowman has some cash money among available free agents. Is there anybody you think they could sign, like a Curtis Lazar or the fellow that young Donovan wants on the wing every 5 days? He mentioned, yeah. So is there anybody out there that you like enough to maybe go get?
I honestly again, pretty boring. You mentioned his name already, but it's a name I've been high on since we started talking about, should they give a PTO to somebody or whoever? Curtis Lazar,
yeah.
Right hand center, can penalty kill,
right,
and knows that he can go in and out of the lineup, and is okay with that. Okay,
and you might have to, you might have to cut bait on a veteran, but like a end of the roster veteran, and I think it's worth it because he's just so unique positionally, and they need that. All right, issue 3. This goes to Declan. Rough Riders receiving room is a walking wounded. Just right now, there's nothing going on there. Who will Trevor Harris throw to on Saturday night?
Yeah, it's tough. You look at their 6-game IL, you could make an argument 5 of their 6 best players are on that 6-game IL, and obviously their 2 best wide receivers. I think it'll be split between Keyshawn Johnson and Dell Duncan Busby. I think those 2 become the 2 favorite targets for Trevor Harris.
And it's like they're having a good year, except the last couple of weeks when they faltered a little bit. And another loss, and you've got to like the Elks' chances to win the division, or do you?
Oh, absolutely, I do. And Saskatchewan, those injuries are really catching up.
Yeah, they are for sure. Issue 4, I'll send this one to Declan and then to Josh. ESPN ranked all NFL teams in watchability and funability, and the Bears beat the Rams. Are you surprised?
Oh, interesting. In watchability. I mean, I think the football nerd in me wants to say the Rams are more watchable, if you will, because
that's what I thought.
Yeah, I think in a lot of ways they play a better brand of football on both sides, which I think is really impressive. But when you talk about excitement, the Rams are right there too, to be fair. But Caleb Williams just kind of has that inexplicable make something out of nothing fun quality. So I understand why they did it. I don't know if I would have done it for either category. I understand why they went that direction.
What about you, Josh?
Watchability and what was the other?
And fun, fun to watch.
I would say I would agree. I think it's the Bears. I have a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun watching Bears games last year, and I'm looking forward to doing so again this year.
So, question for both of you, because I think a lot of this is about Williams and being able to Elway his way to a late win. As a quarterback matures, those games tend to become less prominent because they're more controlled, and those wild plays aren't necessary. The chaotic play isn't necessary. Am I wrong? He's going to be Brett Favre his whole career.
I don't. Brett Favre. I don't know. Maybe,
Favre would throw it into 5 coverage.
Yeah, he would, but it's weird because in a lot of ways they are similar. But Brett Favre also Brett Favre was such a gunslinger through and through. Caleb Williams, more controlled chaos almost.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't even know if that is fair. That's just kind of how I'm thinking of it right now.
I just feel like in 3 or 4 years in, quarterbacks usually have fewer of those. Elway didn't, and Favre never settled down, but usually they mature a little bit. Maybe this guy will, or maybe he won't. He's exciting to watch. There's no doubt about that. All right, issue 5. This goes to Josh. Jays won yesterday. Have Spencer Arrighetti going to the mound tonight versus the Royals. Can the Jays rotation, which is Cease, very good, Yasavich, young and good, Soriano, veteran, like him, Leatherface, Scherzer, and Arrighetti get it done?
Is Yasavich off the IL already?
No, maybe not.
Because I think that's why Arrighetti would be going tonight. Is if
either way,
is on
is that rotation good enough?
If you go name wise, if Max Scherzer can in his starts can limit it to 2-run ball, I would say probably yeah. But like, I don't think my question has ever been with the pitching this year, except for their health.
Mhm.
My question has always come down to the bats at play.
Well, and you've got to factor that in, but they won 3 Cobb yesterday, and I think you've got to Cobb your way to they have to go 8-10 somewhere in the next 10 times whatever 28 games left. They have to go like something. I think like if there's 28 games left, I think they have to go like 18-10.
What they really have to do is make sure they sweep the series against the Guardians.
Guardians are like playing better though.
They're playing good ball.
Yeah, and they've Ramirez getting healthy. They've got like a bunch of guys. If you look at WRC Plus, they've got like 5 guys over 100, and neither of them are. Ramirez isn't one of them, and I don't think the Jays have anybody over 100. Like the Jays bats are like they're dormant. It's almost like a hangover from a year ago.
It's honestly it's Vladdy's bat that's dormant, and that's why we always bring it up, because like Nathan Lucas hit a shot yesterday. I don't think they have a guy over 20 home runs except for Kaz, but I think he's the only one on the team over 20.
Thank God they signed him. Holy.
Springer is essentially like unplayable at this point.
I think you play him against lefties.
I think so, but like he's down to pinch hitter, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. And so
I don't know.
like Nathan Lucas has actually been hitting. That's a guy that you like having hit. Same with Ernie Clement. Alejandro Kirk in the last month has been the best player on the team.
He'll cool off though. I love Kirk, but he's a really good player and he gets hot, but then he gets cool.
Yeah.
It's a tough position to play well every day.
Incredibly taxing on the body.
Yeah.
Right? Because like Will Smith, we saw it with his legs after the 18-inning game in the World Series. He caught the whole game. Like he could not swing. Obviously, he pumped a home run at the end of Game 7.
God, just ridiculous.
But aside from that, like he was not good.
To me, that was one of the great displays of a catcher in the World Series in history. He was just, although what the hell, the Jays they should have won that game anyway. Before then,
the 18-inning game or Game 7,
either one.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Talladega says, with Henrique gone, I have lots of time for Lazar, especially with the injuries we have going into camp. Right-handed center to replace the one we lost. PK face-off matter. And it also, like I'm writing an article about this. It'll be out probably tomorrow. And, the idea was, to give McDavid less time. He played over a minute per game on the penalty kill. Ideally, you wouldn't use him really at all, and Leon the same. And you have 2 centers in in Dickinson and Nugent Hopkins you can use at center on the PK, plus Szymanski, who I think will make the team, and he can PK. So ideally, you've got that, but now you've got the injuries to Savoy and Janmark. Now, they do have a replacement, Matthew Joseph, for Janmark, but they don't for Savoy. So I think Lazar would give them, because Savoy took some penalties or took some faceoffs. He was a right shot faceoff guy, and that's important. Lazar is even better than Savoy, so it would be an upgrade on the penalty kill faceoffs and those sorts of things. I would like it. But we'll see. Okay, I'm streaming you online. You sound completely different people. I almost need the AM static to feel right. Anyway, you don't have to talk about him. What is he saying? You could just say Vladimir Tarasenko out loud, just so it's out there from Ben. Yeah, I couldn't think of his name. I mean, it's not like we've mentioned it 1,000 times. But here's the thing about Tarasenko. I think that we don't know how long Savoy's going to be out. Gazzola was saying it was a leg injury, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so let's say it's a month. So you sign Tarasenko for the year, and then you run Howard and Tarasenko for a month, and then you're probably going to send Howard down. And I understand why people want to have it happen, and maybe it does, but I would like to linger at least a little bit about the idea of getting a right-handed center who can PK, and then not spending all of the money. And by the way, with all of these guys on IR and not on LTIR, they use up most of the cap. They'll use up most of the cap with the replacement players. This is really good news, I think Quinn Hudson has a better chance to make the team now. I think Shakir Makamadulan is absolutely going to play more than we had expected based on what has just occurred. Obviously, Jari and Devin Levi will play more because for at least a time, maybe a month, Frederick Anderson won't be there, but that's okay. I don't mind that so much because let's be honest, they need Frederick Anderson, during the playoffs. He didn't get Carolina the Stanley Cup because he didn't play in the Cup final, but he got him to the Stanley Cup. And the Oilers definitely need a veteran like that. Eeli Tolvanen, right-handed with good shot. Yeah, he's out there too. I mean, and these guys are going to sign for way less than they thought they were going to sign for. But each one of the wingers who can score offensively is one more reason why Ike Howard. I will say this: if the Edmonton Oilers make a deal for Tolvanen or for Tarasenko, I think it shows that they're not completely in on Ike Howard. That's my belief. Because it's a short-term injury, maybe a month or so for Savoy. If it's all year, man, I get it all day. But we don't know that right now. Ben says, check this out, and it's who's that photograph of? Is that Ryan O'Reilly? I just can't.
No, it's Tarasenko.
It's Tarasenko. Okay, all right. I couldn't get it.
Is that real?
I clicked on it.
I'm just.
What are you doing over there?
What do you mean?
Is that real?
Yeah.
Was he on the?
I'm pretty sure he was. I'm just saying that because of AI.
AI is getting better though, right? Like
it's still pretty bad.
No, but some of the stuff is like with the dogs and stuff. That's all I watch is dogs, raccoons, and goats, and they're getting better with it.
Yeah, but I mean, they still love putting like 8 fingers on one person's hand, so it's a real telltale sign.
When they had when AI first came out, I thought that they said this is AI, and I'm like, okay, let me see if I can tell. And it was a gymnast, and the gymnast was doing things that were physically impossible for a human to do, and I got kind of like it emotionally upset me because I thought they're not gonna be able to survive this, even though it was AI and it was obviously AI, but it was getting better even then, and now it's much better.
I mean, like there's also like there's just like it's like there's a filter on every AI video I look at. It just looks ever so slightly different than a regular video is made. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm skipping past that.
But would you agree that you probably are more able to recognize that than an old man who can't see well?
Definitely. Yeah.
Right. I'm not looking forward to the day when somebody uses AI to put my face is a horse's ass or something like that. And then they're sending it all over the internet. That hasn't happened yet.
Well, I mean, we could just do that with Photoshop, like we don't need AI for that.
Yeah. Well, I'm watching you. All right. On the way from Declinations today, I believe today is Declan CFL. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. Obviously, Elks this week on the bye week, but still plenty to talk about across the league. To me, the biggest story, those Ottawa Red Blacks and what they're doing. So we'll talk about them a little bit. And yeah, just look around the league as a whole.
Yeah, the CFL is such a funny league. It's 9 teams, and sometimes the teams will just alter course in the middle of the year. Can we do one thing on Declinations at 140? I just want to touch base with you about the NFL cuts and who you think, not necessarily is going to be cut because that's a needle in a haystack, but what teams you think will be all over specific positions?
Absolutely.
All right. Look forward to that. Coming up, we've got a very busy day. Jansen Denick from The Athletic joining us at 1240 to talk about his latest article, which is basically talking about what areas the Oilers are stronger in now may have changed after the injury announcements. We'll do that at 1240. And from Daily Face-Off Edmonton, Bagged Milk coming up at 1 o'clock. Lowdown with Lowtide on Sports 1440 and YouTube, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick.
Not sure what wheels fit your vehicle?
Fly ball, right field, hit well. Score!
Suarez had a hit off on him up the middle.
This is in the air, pretty deep left center.
Got a chance.
Going away, Gilbert against the wall. And a grand slam for Eugenio Suarez, and somehow the Reds are within a run.
And still nobody out. This would be the most miraculous of all comebacks. Suarez had a hit off on him.
Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what we pay on virtually our entire lineup of Ford vehicles. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
I finished a 5K in 94th place, right after a man wearing jeans. Then a volunteer gave me a medal. But I don't want participation trophies, unless they're from Bet365. With their daily prize matcher game, I win by matching gold coins, cherries, and more. Take that, Denim Man. Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Heavy Truck Auction is this Thursday at 9 a.m. Featuring triaxle, tandem, single-axle trucks including cab and chassis, decks, diggers, dumps, pickers, tractors, vacs, and service trucks. Info at maauctions.com.
Breaking down the fine art of sports.
One rep at a time.
The Lowdown
with Lowtide.
Thanks for checking out Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440. We're brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. Frankie Valli had one of the most amazing voices in the Four Seasons and then solo. Have you seen Jersey Boys? You've watched every movie. Surely to God you've seen Jersey Boys.
I have not seen Jersey Boys. I have, however, seen the best rendition of this song, which was in 10 Things I Hate About You, via the great and late Heath Ledger. It's how he serenades Julia Stiles into going out on another date with him.
Well, it's a great song.
It is a great song. It gets me pretty fired up, honestly. I'm like, this is a feel-good song.
Yeah, no, it's just, back then they wrote songs that were love songs, not the ones that they write now.
Yeah.
Where it's about, I got money and I don't need you, but maybe after I'm done my evening, I'll call you. Or you call me, maybe. I don't know. I'll probably be sleeping.
Call Me Maybe. That's a real song.
Yeah. It's a good song, actually. All right. Anyway, if you haven't seen Jersey Boys, watch Jersey Boys. Watch all musicals. All of them. They're all brilliant. It is time for Rumors, brought to you by Hire Good. We solve real problems for businesses while creating real impact. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. Go to feelgood.ca. hiregood.ca. Hire Good. Stable jobs create stable lives. That commercial makes me feel good, so that's why I said that. He said. All right. Not a lot in hockey aside from the Edmonton Oilers injuries. If you haven't heard, yesterday it was announced when talked about Gazzola has Matt Savoy with a leg injury out for a time. Frederick Anderson also out for a time. Two that were not a big surprise. Alec Regula, who fought injuries all year last year, and Frederick Anderson, who was injured before and during the Stanley Cup final, although he was obviously a big part of the Carolina Hurricanes Stanley Cup win. So those two being out isn't a big surprise. The Savoy item is the big one. A lot of people on my blog today discussing what the lines will look like. I think Mike Babcock probably starts with something everybody's comfortable with, and that might be McDavid with Nugent Hopkins and Hyman, Draisaitl with Podkolzin and Kasperi Kapanen, and then you figure out Dickinson's line with whatever's left. But remember, there's a possibility he runs Draisaitl and McDavid together, which would mean I think you'd run Draisaitl and McDavid with someone like maybe Kapanen, maybe like Howard, and then what I'd like to see is Nuge running with Hyman and Podkolzin. I think you've got to give Nuge the two best wingers if you're going to run Draisaitl and McDavid together. That's my own opinion. Maybe you don't agree with it, but I think that's the way it is. Josh Sobolski, writing for Pro Hockey Rumors, talked about the Anaheim Ducks remaining in active contract negotiation with Cutter Gauthier, and saying they're going to have to move some money, which, I mean, it's obvious, and there's more there, but names like Chris Kreider, Alex Killorn, and Frank Vetrano, they're attached to a lot of money. And Josh, do you agree that if you're going to trade Vetrano, you got to put a first-round pick on that thing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to sweeten the pot.
Big time.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, Vetrano can play, and he could play on, more than just one or two teams. But for me, it's a no-fly zone off the Oilers. You don't want to get another overpriced guy. You've got some walking around money. Wheel with that thing and get somebody who's going to be here for 5 years and then hit 30. That's the goal. The Avalanche and Cale Makar are closing in on an extension. Have we seen estimated numbers? Because this should be one of the big ones. This is a jackpot, Declan. This is big money we're talking about.
Yeah, there had been a question that came up on, I believe it was Tom Gazzola's show, an in or out segment, talking about who the first $20 million player might be in terms of AAV, and Matt Schaefer, a name that got thrown around a little bit, deservedly so. I said, hey, what about Cale Makar? Like, he's up for that extension.
It's a good one.
Right? Yeah. Like, and probably, I think we would all agree, the best defenseman in the NHL, although I think that gap has maybe closed a little bit. I'm sure he'll take something a little less than that, like if I had to assume, but if that AAV starts with 2, I don't think too many people are surprised.
He is one of the 2 or 3 most unique hockey players in the world, I think. And I know he made the mistake at the Olympics, and I love Evan Bouchard, but Makar's on a different level. He just is. Speaking of the Pittsburgh Penguins, which we weren't talking at all about the Penguins, but they did share a couple of goalies with the Oilers last year, Tristan Jarry and Stuart Skinner. They're going young this year, Sergei Miroshov and Arthur Seeloffs. That's what I hope the Edmonton Oilers do with the Bakersfield Condors. They got a couple of really good younger goaltenders, Connor Unger and Samuel Johnson, who I think is the best prospect goaltender in the system. Now, they do have a veteran down on the farm, Matt Tompkins, but I'd like to see, if possible, maybe he moves on to another team and we see what happens from there. I'm not vehement about it, but I would like to see that for the Edmonton Oilers. They need to give these kids lots of reps, and they've got 2 really good ones, and Bakersfield is a development team, just like every other AHL team. I think it's a good idea. Hall of Famer Michael Jordan isn't expected to return to NBC's NBA coverage for the 26-27 season. He was on. He participated as a special on-air contributor. I didn't see him very much. I don't watch all the time. Did you see him, and did you like Michael Jordan, Declan?
He was, so basically how they did it was he did like an interview that they broke up into segments that they gave him a lot of money for. It's the most Michael Jordan move ever. He collected a huge bag from NBC. He did not participate much, and he will be out as soon as he can be.
So he did well, and he didn't take it personally, but he made bank.
Yes.
Okay. Raptors are going to retire Kyle Lowry's number 7 jersey on the 10th of January. Will you be there, Josh?
Well, I'm thinking about it. They should retire his shorts, honestly. I mean, did you see the dump truck that guy had? Holy.
Where did we turn? The show took a sudden turn, sir.
I'm just saying, Kyle Lowry, famous for his big butt. Just saying.
Can we call him Big Dumper NBA as opposed to Cal
Big Dumper
Raleigh?
NBA? No, sorry. He is officially known as the Groat. the greatest Raptor of all time.
I like that.
Yeah, it's being retired January 10th against your Philadelphia 76ers.
Well, that'll be a loss.
To the Sixers. Yeah, it will.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, okay, just making sure. Joel Embiid's knee will have given out at that point.
You're a very cruel man.
I'm sorry.
It
was right there.
All of my Philadelphia heroes.
I think Philly was probably the obvious choice. If there was a second choice, I would have picked their home game against the Nuggets because DeMar DeRozan had just signed with the Nuggets. So, like, Kyle Lowry's best friend could have been there in attendance. He could have just, signed with the Raptors, but he didn't. So here we are, but not a more deserving guy in the NBA of getting their jersey retired outside of Russell Westbrook.
NFL experts who follow the draft always tell me the best team in terms of drafting is the Cincinnati Bengals. So I'm wondering why Charlie Jones is on the roster bubble after, 3 or 4 years, may not make the team. What's wrong with your Bengals? Why are they so bad at almost everything?
What's wrong with my Bengals? This is only a 2-hour show. I think we only have an hour and a half left. Don't think we can get into it.
I don't want to get too far into it because it'll turn around. You're criticizing my Eagles quarterback.
Listen, they're just not good at a lot of things, and that's okay.
Who's the best drafting team in the NFL, Declan?
Oh, wow. Matt, the Niners come to mind.
Yep. The Steelers?
76ers got it. I'm sorry, Eagles got to be in there.
Eagles definitely in there.
No.
Definitely in there.
Cowboys do, but
no, I don't think they
things
took
go sideways on them.
Oh man, what the hell was that guy's name that was taken right before Justin Jefferson? Jalen Reagor. There we go. You take Jalen Reagor over Jay Jettas.
People
I think
remember
you gotta
that?
fall out. Yeah,
that was a miss.
That's like taking J.
It was a
Jonah
big-
Jameson.
Yeah, it was a big time miss.
One of my favorite things happened. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I want to talk about this, and I want us all to talk about our joy. Few times in life, there is pure joy that is universal. It's like a new Sammy Davis Jr. song to follow up Candyman. It's late, but you're still going to like it. The NFL will no longer hold the Pro Bowl. Thank God and Greyhound. Good grief. It was the most unwatchable game. You guys made fun of flag football. Have you seen the Pro Bowl?
It is flag football.
Awful.
It's really bad.
It's so bad.
People have been calling for the Pro Bowl to be over for years and years and years. Now, what's really funny about it is the last Pro Bowl quarterback of all time, Shadur Sanders.
That is funny.
I'm just saying.
That's funny. So that's a little piece of history that he better, improve his grade, or it's going to be kind of a punchline with a cymbal smash,
Former Pro Bowl quarterback. It was going to be a punchline anyways, even if the Pro Bowl continued to happen.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I remember, though, when I watched that, I haven't watched it in decades, but it was like they're interviewing a wideout after he catches a pass, and you're like, is that man, has he been drinking? It was a party atmosphere.
They had been drinking for sure.
Nobody cared. And yet, you could still get hurt. It didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it's football. What has to make sense?
Man. Good afternoon, Lowtide. When talking about, this is from Bobby. When talking about the potential of the Oilers signing Tarasenko and speculating it would be a sign that the Oilers aren't all in on Howard, why would you expect the team to be confident in Howard when they haven't played him enough? They either hedge their bets by signing a top 6 player, or they keep their powder dry until the trade deadline. That's kind of my point about Ike Howard. I saw him play in Bakersfield. I know he improved as a guy in coverage, but I also think that if a scout told me that he can't score from range like Evander Kane could, I'd probably say, yeah, I think I saw that. And if a scout said to me he doesn't go to the tough areas, I don't know. But the Oilers will. And when you acquire a player at that cost, you want the player to work out. So for Stan Bowman, this is, general managers, generally speaking, rarely give up on guys that they absolutely paid a lot for, whether it's a first-round draft pick or somebody like Ike Howard they traded a first-round draft pick for. They definitely want to get value. They just do. So Ike Howard is a guy that Stan Bowman is attached to in a real and material way, because he doesn't want to have a media avail where, you know, somebody in the media is saying, listen, O'Reilly's, playing really well in the AHL. Looks like he's going to get recalled soon. Your guy's in the AHL, and you have no plans to bring him back because you've replaced him with a veteran. How does that feel? And it'll happen. And you want to be able to bring a young, inexpensive player into this team like they did with Matt Savoy and have him succeed. So I think you almost have to. I'm not suggesting that I'm saying they have to, but if you're Stan Bowman in your mind, you really got to give this guy 40 games. Give him, 350 at bats, see what he is. Having said that, Mike Babcock will have a lot of impact in that, and we don't know what he'll be saying when he sees him. Nick and Grand Prairie, I don't understand your comment. Do you understand Nick and Grand Prairie's comment?
I have no idea who we were talking about for him to bring up. I think maybe he's talking about that can't possibly be Nick. Alejandro Kirk.
No, he's talking about Eugenio Suarez.
Oh,
who my team just waived. I thought he was our 5th best batter this year.
But they waived him knowing that nobody would claim him. They do that.
I reached out to some people and they told me like you just learned Cincinnati Reds, buddy.
Here's what teams do, and this goes back to 1,000 years. That's why I know about it. Is if you're a team that has not done well, i.e. Cincinnati, although I'll tell you what, that shortstop is playing more disciplined ball. I think he's going to be a really good player next year again. Not that he wasn't this year. But you waive guys as a sort of a like, hey, look at this. Ooh, we got a real, like TJ Friedel, the other guy they waived. I can see a team acquiring him. He can do a lot of things. He's a platoon bat. He can play center field in a pinch. He can do some things. So I think that the reason you do that is you're a losing team. You want to offload. You're not going to offload all of the contract. Eugenio Suarez, he would go to a team that was desperate for a third baseman, but Cincinnati would have to pick up a lot of the tab. And with Friedel, I just think he's a really interesting guy for a team maybe who has injuries. They can't play him on the playoff roster, but they could play him till the end of the regular season. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but at some level it makes sense. And you're going to see more of this. You're going to see more in the next few days, more veteran players waived. Just Cincinnati did it first, like they used to back in the olden days when Cincinnati always had what? They always had the first game of the regular season in Cincinnati. At Riverfront, Marge Schott sitting there saying some of the most outrageous things in the history of man. And Cincinnati always had that game, and they got it taken away from them, and they're still mad. Gordoyle, I don't understand what you're saying about Alec Regula. He is hurt, and he won't be part of training camp. That's what I was interested in. They got out in front of this. The Oilers traditionally don't give a lot of information about injuries, and they didn't specifically this time, but they did give us a timeline. They're not coming to camp. And so I think one of the reasons they're doing it, just my opinion, one of the reasons they're doing it is they don't want to complicate the issue in terms of who's there and who Mike Babcock can evaluate. In some ways, this is an advantage because now he has, instead of 16 forwards, he's got 14. And instead of having 9 defensemen, he's got 8. And of course, he's got the 2 goaltenders. Okay. Busy show today. Declinations coming up at 1:40 today, talking CFL. At 1 o'clock today, Bagged Milk from Daily Faceoff. And Jansen Denick from The Athletic straight ahead. Lowdown with Lowtide brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. We're back after this.
For a night of rock with the Gene Simmons Band. Monday, November 30th at Silent Ice Center in Nisku. The Gene Simmons Band, performing your favorite classic hits. Monday, November 30th at Silent Ice Center in Nisku. Tickets on sale now at silenticecenter.com. Don't miss the Gene Simmons Band.
Guys, there never seems to be enough time in the day, but you need to make time for this. Ken Franchek here. If you're 40 or over, a quick PSA blood test is crucial for early prostate cancer detection. The Prostate Cancer Center's Man Van is a mobile health clinic driving change for men's health. A few minutes could save your life. To get the Man Van out to your business or event, book today at getcheck.ca.
They're going all out to earn your business at Wolf GMC Buick. Right now, they're seriously overstocked on over 400 pieces of inventory on clearance and ready to move. See for yourself. Click on the clearance tab at wolfgmcbuick.com. And it gets even better. Employee pricing continues with huge cash discounts, 0% purchase financing, and low lease rates on select vehicles. Once again, see their website for details and stop in today. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
You see it? Fusion Promo Marketing can make it. Fusion makes high-quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality, get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Professional golf is coming to Blackhawk Golf Club this fall. The ATV Classic, presented by Building Trades of Alberta, brings the stars of PGA Tour Americas to you. Enjoy the ATV Fan Zone, presented by Michelob Ultra, where golf meets festival vibes. Upgrade to VIP-covered terrace seating with premium food and beverage options. September 17th to 20th. Tickets start at just $25, and the first 250 buyers receive a PGA Tour Americas commemorative gift. Get yours at atvclassic.com.
Alberta, this one's for you. Around here, trust takes a few winters. It's why players have known Jackpot City since 1998. Home to hundreds of exciting casino games, live dealer action, and new adventures waiting to be discovered. Jackpot City, nothing beats the original. Please play responsibly, 18 years or older, Alberta only.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca.
The Lowdown with Lowtide on Sports 1440. Can you fit Sports Encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. wolfgmcbuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowtide on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. It is 12:41. Joined now by Jensen Denick from The Athletic. Jensen, how are you, man?
Good afternoon, Alan. I'm good. How are you?
Good. I imagine you're getting into the swing of things a little bit here. We got news yesterday about 4 injuries and some material to sink your teeth into that's brand new a little bit here.
Yeah, just sinking my teeth into that right now. It's, I mean, like you said earlier, it's not often that we get some news like this, especially knowing with certainty the timelines on these players. So obviously this opens up some opportunities for a few players here, and Babcock has fewer decisions to make on the opening roster.
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating roster training camp anyway, and I like your article that's out today. Edmonton Oilers 2026 offseason moves. Where are they better? Where are they worse? And I specifically like that you at the beginning talked about what was a sea change, a monumental move. Not that he wasn't a fine player, but the contract was massive. And Darnell Nurse to San Jose really did open up and continues to open up opportunities for the Oilers on the roster.
Of course, yeah. It's I think in my article I tried to establish clearly that the offseason may not have been seismic in terms of other moves, in terms of short-term impacts, but I think everybody knows that clearing up that cap space, that almost $5 million in cap space, is going to be weaponized later in the year, and it's not so much about what's happening right now, but what could be done mid-season.
I get feedback all the time from folks who read The Athletic. So I was fascinated when you looked at some of the numbers that project the roster as taking a little bit of a step back in terms of the moves that were made over the summer. Nurse a part of that, but others as well. But I liked your explanation about the fact that this was a really good roster. They had a poor year based on a lot of things. It was a frantic trip through the season with all the other activities aside from the NHL schedule and it being compressed. And the Oilers' best players play a lot. You see some room for growth here, even with the team as it stands now.
I do see room for growth, and obviously these numbers in my article are a courtesy of Don Lucian with The Athletic, and he's our numbers guru. So I can't take full credit for this, but it's the impact of Mike Babcock is expected to be a large one, and that's probably the biggest hope for improvement when it comes to these numbers. Is he's expected to provide between 8 and 10 goals of improvement just with his impact alone, and a lot of that has to do with what he did in Toronto and in his early years there. So we can't be sure that formula is going to work exactly the same a decade later. But you put that together with a roster that probably underachieved a lot last year. And I think there's definitely room for improvement and tightening up the defense, which Babcock is obviously expected to do. You might not see improvement on the offensive side of things. I wouldn't rule it out, but probably not. But you're hoping that they're going to tighten up a little bit on the back end.
Jansen Denik, our guest from the Athletic Edmonton on Sports 1440 and YouTube. It's interesting now with the injury to Matt Savoy. There's an opportunity here, a bigger opportunity probably for Ike Howard, but there's also some free agents out there like Tarasenko and Tolvanen, and one wonders whether Stan Bowman signs someone or they commit really in a very material way to Ike Howard as we enter training camp.
Yeah, I think it's an attractive idea to get a free agent to fill that hole. But when you think about who's out there, I mean, Eli Tolvanen's name has been thrown around, but he's going to command a lot more money than what they have internally, and maybe as much as $3-4 million. And I think the Oilers want to keep that money handy for later down the line. But when it comes to Howard, I mean, I think he's going to get his shot. I think he was going to get his shot regardless of what happened with injuries, and obviously with Savoy being out, it's even more likely. But I think Stan Bowman really wants Howard to work out. Obviously, there's the asset cost to get him, Sam O'Reilly, and you see what he's done. And Bowman doesn't want to lose that trade. He has got a lot invested in it. So I think there's a good case to be made that Howard is going to be given that shot in the top 6. That's where he needs to be anyway, because he's not a PK guy, and he doesn't project fantastic in his defensive impact. So I think they're really hoping that he's going to find some chemistry with McDavid and Draisaitl.
The article you wrote along with Jonas Siegel, I was fascinated by, just because that you're looking at a team in Toronto that had Mike Babcock and had successful years and had terrific young skilled players and kind of gave us the article gave us a feel for Babcock. There's some stubborn streak. There's some things that he does that are really innovative, but it allows you at least to kind of put that template onto the Oilers roster and look forward a little.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's like I said, it's tough when it's a decade apart and the rosters aren't the same. Very different situations that he's stepping into. Obviously, in Toronto, it was a tear down rebuild, and here you have to win now. So it's not. In some ways, it's apples to oranges. But I think you can take away some of his tendencies, and it's. Some of those are very relevant with him having not coached in this league for 7 years. You don't know exactly how he's kept up with the NHL and the way that it's evolved. And you don't know if he's evolved. Obviously, he's had some coaching in U Sports since his exit in Toronto, and he almost coached in Columbus. But until you get some games under your belt this fall, you don't really know. So I think it's a safe assumption to think that some of the things that he did in Toronto are going to find their way into his work here.
We've got, NHL players from different teams skating in the city. Have you thought about throwing on the blades and jumping over the boards?
Well, funny you should say that. I just have my first rec league game coming up this week, so I'll have the skates ready to go, and I'll be a bit rusty, but yeah, that would be fun.
Are you a right shot defenseman who can cover well? Because you might want to go straight to Oilers camp.
I'm a lefty and I don't play D, so count me out for that. But
I will tell you that among Edmonton media who do play rec hockey, you'd be stunned at how many of them don't play D and never spend much time in the defensive zone. So you've got a lot of similar people alongside you. Hey, listen, thanks for this. We'll have you back again soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alan, for having me.
All right, there you go. That is Jansen Dennick from the Athletic Edmonton talking about what has been after a long period of nothing, some genuinely big news around the Edmonton Oilers. And what it does is it offers a little more clarity for the roster coming in. I think Mike Babcock would probably check down to what would be traditional, i.e. McDavid with Hyman and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Draisaitl with Kapanen and Vasily Podkolzin. And then the third line, try to work around Jason Dickinson and the group that we've been talking about for a long time. Trent Frederick would be an option there. Matthew Joseph is a guy who's got really good forechecking ability and terrific speed. That's a guy you might want to look at. Last year, the fourth line that I liked late in the year was Josh Szymanski with Colton Dach and Trent Frederick. And with these injuries, maybe we see that again, because all they did was very simple, old-timey hockey. They jumped the puck in and go chase it. The lead forward would hammer the defenseman with the puck, try to shake it loose for the second winger coming in. Usually it was Frederick, the second winger. Dach got there first. And then Frederick would send it out to the center or back to the blue line, and now you have possession. And it's not like they're a massive threat to score, but they're a hell of a lot more likely to score when the puck is 200 feet from their own end and they don't have to worry about defending. So I liked that alignment. The playoffs occurred, and then there was all kinds of injuries, so they didn't go back to it. But there you go. You guys are talking about pie eating contest. What movie?
Well, there was a pie eating contest that ended as a puke-a-thon in my favorite movie of all time, Stand By Me.
Right. I should have known it was Stand By Me. That is such a sad movie. I love the movie. It makes me, it's a movie that at the end I'm glad I watched, but there are some absolutely stunningly sad scenes in that movie.
I've cried every single time I've seen it, except funny enough, the last time I watched it. First time I ever didn't cry at the movie.
It's like everybody in that movie, like if you're gonna quote them, especially the young people who were the lead actors, that's the lead, right? That's the bullet point on their resume to this day, and probably always will be. Northside Lou, gents, I'd be interested in taking Kreider from the Ducks at 50% retained this season. I'm left wing with McDavid, so Nuge could slide to third line. You know, there's a lot out there. There's a lot of players who probably would come here for $2 million, and that may well happen. It might be more likely to happen now, but I remain steadfast in thinking that young Josh had the best idea, and that was Lazar. Right-handed center, can kill penalties. They need those things, and he also, as Josh said, could easily go down the depth chart. It's not like he'd be bitching and moaning if he wasn't playing. Did he watch Stand By Me with two girls in the bed? Ed, it seems to be your Olives.
Your move.
No, but everyone I've dated, I've definitely made them watch Stand By Me.
Where? In the living room?
With parents around and
on an iPhone, just like Nolan
two separate couches. Yeah, on an iPhone, just like Rob Reiner intended.
Oh man. I would say that of the stories that Declan has told over the years, the one he told yesterday was truly the one that we can bring back from time to time, as in every day, and talk about. And you said it the way you always do, matter-of-factly, earnestly, and with no sense or belief that it should be in any way provocative. That's why I love you. You're just like, why? Nothing happened. Why would it happen? But this occurred. You know, it's the same way you approach Mrs. Andrews.
I think I approached that one with a little more animosity.
but like you nothing against the teacher. I'm sure she was a fine teacher. But when you approach a grade 1 student as a teacher and say you owe it to your family, that's a whole new level.
Cut me deep. Last an impression.
Holy man. That's like that's some major league verbal for what, a 5-year-old, 6-year-old?
Yeah, like 6 or 7, I think. Oof.
Yeah. John says, Lowtide, when are you having another book signing? I probably won't. It's been out several years, but if you have a copy of the book and you want to, set up an opportunity for me to sign it for you, I would do that. And I remind you that if I see you in the wild wearing what's it called?
I'd grab a beer with Lowtide shirt from the 780. 780.
I'd grab a beer with Lowtide shirt. If I see you in the wild, I will, in fact, stop what I'm doing. And I will buy you a beer. I will buy you a beer. And you have to know that's one of the major, major moments in life for me. I don't know what it does to you, but I am taking money out of my own pocket for the first time since the late 60s to buy somebody else something.
What would be incredible about that would be like if you saw someone at Walmart or whatever. This is Canada. Obviously, we don't sell beer in Walmart.
No.
So do you walk across the street to the liquor store and get them a can of beer?
No, we would have
or
to sit
you take
down
them to you're like, okay, meet me at the bar here.
Browns or wherever.
Yeah. The
I would just,
one.
all I would say is I got to make sure that Josh isn't there, and then we can go in. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you're not going to any bars on the southwest side, I think you'll be okay.
That's you've got a 20-mile radius within your house, do you? Or
no, like I only really go to bars that are like around my apartment or my girlfriend's apartment.
Right. Well, you've got a different
to be fair,
life
that's
now.
downtown.
Yeah, but you've got a different life now. Let's
yeah,
be
I don't
honest.
even. I went to Sherwood Park on Tuesday. I was like, man, I haven't been here in weeks.
Did you ever go to like a club?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And what was your favorite club?
That's a great question. So there's this one in Calgary.
Mm-hmm.
I
Is
forget
it
what
on
it's
Electric
called.
Avenue, or do they have Electric Avenue?
I don't think so, but it's on the roof. Of like where if you on Stephen Ave, if you know where Barbarella is, it's on top of Barbarella. On top of that, the mall. Loved it there. Nice summer night.
And Declan, you probably went to the Purple Onion.
No, I've heard of it. I've never been.
No.
I think it predates me a little
That
bit.
does. I'm just teasing you.
Oh, okay.
Where did you go?
The ranch was big for my age group.
Right. Yeah.
What was it before Beercade? The Rack on White, Mix on White. That was
I
one.
think it was the Rack.
Squires and Billiard Club, and then as you get a little bit older, like the Pint downtown.
Yeah. I used to go to the Riv Rock Room. That's really old. I watched Gatto.
Per Elliot Friedman, Ray Pataku, who represents Connor Hallebuck, has now gone public with his trade request.
Well, here we go. Where would be the ultimate spot for Mr. Hallebuck?
Florida.
Who's their goaltender?
Right now they've got Markstrom and who was the other kid? Akira Schmid?
Okay, so Akira Schmid and something, because they've got Skinner, right? In Winnipeg?
Yeah, they got Skinner.
Yeah. So, and I imagine that the former Flames goalie has a no movement to Edmonton clause and probably to Winnipeg.
I bet you he has no move.
Yeah. So it would have to be Hallebuck for Akira Schmidt and something.
Yeah, I don't. But everyone has a no move clause.
The Rangers have a goalie. The Islanders have a goalie.
Yeah, they don't need anybody.
LA has a goalie.
Yeah, Minnesota has 2 goalies.
Chicago is not as good as you want.
Dallas has a goalie.
Yeah.
Tampa
Bay
Tampa's got a goalie. They got
Carolina.
Vasilevsky.
What's Carolina doing?
They're always just like war of
Looking on
attrition at
waivers.
goalie, right?
Yeah.
Like
They just check the waiver wire.
Brandon Bussey, though, like he just won them a Stanley Cup with Freddie Anderson.
Purple Onion rocked Army Daryl. Stand By Me makes you cry, Blair says. What are you, 10-year-old girls? I only cried at one movie, and that was Castaway when he lost Wilson. Super sad. Well, I feel bad for you, Blair. I cry at movies all the time in my house, on an airplane, in a movie theater. I don't you guys get emotional at movies?
A movie that made me like ugly cry, and like thank goodness I was by myself when I watched it, but I definitely shouldn't have been by myself when I watched it, was Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Right.
I was ugly crying.
Yeah.
By the end of it.
Yeah,
It was very sad.
I cry at everything. I mean everything.
I cry at like anything that's like A Dog's Purpose and A Dog's Journey. The two of those I cried at.
I wept during Dumb and Dumber. That's how
That's
bad I
weird.
am. I just say.
But like my favorite movie is Good Will Hunting. I know that It's Not Your Fault scene gets everybody. Yeah, I don't think I've ever cried during the It's Not Your Fault scene.
No. I cried during Shane, which is a Western movie with Alan Ladd. Shane, come back! He can't because he's been shot. He's been gut shot. He's not going to live. That's why he's running. He's taking his horse away because he doesn't want the little boy to see him die. Great movie, man. Holy. Okay, 12:58 on the way. We'll be talking to, I want to get this right because I got it wrong last week, and I don't want to get it wrong 2 weeks in a row. Bagged Milk from Daily Face-Off Edmonton, and we have Declinations on the way at 1:40. Lowdown with Lowtide on Sports 1440 and YouTube, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by elksnation.ca for the best green and gold coverage online with articles, podcasts, and more. Visit elksnation.ca. News just coming down from the NHL world is Connor Hellebuck officially requesting a trade out of Winnipeg. Elsewhere in the sporting world, the Toronto Raptors to raise Kyle Lowry's number 7 to the Raptors on January 10th. And in the MLB, 2 games right now see the Nats lead the Rockies 4-1 and the Cards lead the Orioles 3-0. Toronto Blue Jays will be in action at 5:07, once again playing host to the Royals, and it will be Eric Getty on the mound in that one. Astros and Yankees also in action at 5:05. In the late game in the league, we'll see the Diamondbacks and Giants at 7:45. Canada not in action today at the Little League World Series, but it was Japan over Nicaragua 4-1 earlier today, and Ohio and Iowa saw the final 7-1. WNBA games will get going at 6 o'clock with the Valkyries and the Liberty, and then at 8 we have the Washington Mystics in Phoenix to take on the Mercury. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440. Stingray Radio Station. CHAR. Broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
They're going all out to earn your business at Wolf GMC Buick. Right now, they're seriously overstocked on over 400 pieces of inventory on clearance and ready to move. See for yourself. Click on the clearance tab at wolfgmcbuick.com. And it gets even better. Employee pricing continues with huge cash discounts, 0% purchase financing, and low lease rates on select vehicles. Once again, see their website for details or stop in today. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
When your project can't afford downtime, call Japa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Japa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit japaequipment.com or stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations.
Struggling to find skilled workers? What if you could fill your talent pipeline with motivated, pre-vetted youth and receive funding to support your efforts? At Careers the Next Generation, we connect Alberta employers with interns in skilled trades, IT, agriculture, forestry, and more. All WCB covered, high school accredited, safety trained, and ready to contribute from day one. With 83% of RAP students continuing their apprenticeships after high school, investing in youth today means securing your workforce for tomorrow. Don't wait. Visit careersnextgen.ca to get started.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
Does your bank do local? We do. When you bank with Vision Credit Union, you're banking with a rural Albertan cooperative that cares about the community where you live. There's no question. We actively support our rural communities at the local level through charitable donations, volunteerism, local team and event sponsorships, and by returning millions in profit shares to our members every year. Does your bank do that? We do local. Bank with Vision Credit Union. VisionCU.ca.
Here's what you need to know about Lux Windows. We work hard. We come in early, we stay late, we go above and beyond, and then we go a little further. Not for awards or a pat on the back. We work hard so that choosing our windows and doors is an easy decision for you. It's the Alberta way. It's the Lux way. Everything we are, windows and doors. A company born and bred and made in Alberta.
You need the lowdown? It's with Lowtide right now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. They're overstocked, making room with a massive summer clearance, plus employee pricing continues. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. We're a little after 1 o'clock. We have declination straight ahead. Looking forward to that. And we're going to talk CFL, some of the events happening, Ottawa, Saskatchewan, and others. We'll talk about the Elks, who have an off week, and then they're back-to-back Labor Day Classic, and then back here in Edmonton against those Calgary Stampeders. It's time for our headliner of the day, Bag Milk, brought to you by Faber. Cash flow crunch got your business on the sidelines? Schedule your free consultation with Faber's licensed insolvency trustees and get in the game. Visit faber.ca. Joined now by Bag Milk from Daily Face-Off Edmonton. How are you?
Doing very well. I'm actually, right before I jumped on with you, Al, I'm just reading Connor Hellebuck's statement about getting out of Winnipeg. So we're starting to get some news, a little bit of movement happening.
It's funny because it just felt like we were Groundhog Day all summer, like from like the 7th of July until yesterday when the Oilers' injuries were announced. And now it's starting to flow, and my God, I missed it. And the Hellebuck thing is interesting because it was kind of out there as an option, and now we're in it. And you know, teams have sort of made their choices. Doesn't mean that they're not going to make a move for Hellebuck, but it's an interesting time to make that request, and unlikely, I think, to be honored anytime soon, maybe at the deadline if Winnipeg's out of it.
Yeah, I mean, even just looking at his contract, he's still got a big ticket left, and we are late in the summer. A lot of teams now, there are still some teams with some cap space, of course, but you know, going out and getting a goalie at 8.5 with I think 4 or 5 years left on his contract, I don't remember specifically, but that's a big ticket. So that would either be a monster trade here in the next couple of weeks before camps kick off, or he's going to have to take the long bus ride back to Winnipeg because, of course, Al, they don't have an airport.
Right.
So he's going to have to take a long look at what that means to go back to Winnipeg, and maybe the awkwardness of going back into the situation he clearly doesn't want to be a part of. So that's an interesting one because, like you said, camp is right around the corner, and this is a big deal to make in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, 5 more years left. This is year 3 of 7. We're entering now at 8.5. That's a massive commitment, and he'll be 38 when he's a free agent, so you're buying the 30s of the goaltender. And I mean, I haven't looked it up, but the usual suspects, we were talking about Florida, maybe Tampa Bay, maybe Carolina, although they usually grab their goaltenders off the waiver wire, so maybe not there. The New York teams are flush. Usually you can count on, loose cannon activity from Philadelphia, maybe LA. But I think this is the kind of thing where teams are going to have to budget maybe for next year. So this will be a year going through, unless they've got something lined up. I mean, unless the Jets had something in their back pocket, but it seems unlikely.
It does seem unlikely, but I mean, what? I feel for Jets fans on that one. I really do. And as an Oilers fan, as much as I want to laugh at them, I feel bad for them because you see a star player, and he was obviously the best player, and he carried them for so many games, and he performed so well at so many points for them. It's just a tough one. And whether or not he gets traded immediately or it takes a minute to actually get something done, I feel for Jets fans today, because watching a star player leave your organization is never easy. And, it's a little bit unique to have them put out a public statement in writing right before camp starts. And, we're in peak Kool-Aid season right now. And I feel for what Jets fans that took a shot to the pride today.
Yeah, it's like being an Expos fan in the 80s, identical, where you're, or in the 90s when they opted not to qualify Larry Walker because they were afraid he was going to accept his qualifying offer, which remains one of the most flummoxing moments in the history of sports. Let's talk about those injuries on the Edmonton Oilers, because the one everybody obviously wants to talk about is Matt Savoy. It does, I think, give Ike Howard a leg up. How do you see this? Do you see Nuge moving up to the top line, or how do you see, first blush, what are the options that you are thinking of as possibly being material?
Well, first off, I got to apologize to Oilers fans because I feel like I have to own this one. I've been begging for news for weeks now, and I feel like I've manifested this bad news somehow. So I'll own that. I'll apologize.
Well, we were all thinking it. We were all thinking it. So it's good that you acknowledged it.
Well, I am about accountability, Al, so we gotta take care of that first. So I think, obviously it's a big blow. Matt Savoy had a really strong finish to his season, and I know a lot of Oilers fans, myself included, have high expectations for him this year. And Ryan Rishaug put out the tweet yesterday that said it's going to be looking like late October. Well, the concern for me is, before I get to your actual question, the concern for me is for guys like Matt Savoy and Freddie Anderson, lesser to an extent of Alec Regula and Matthias Janmark. Missing camp, even though it's a short preseason this year, missing the early rusty games where everybody's kind of working out the rust and getting their timing back. That's a big blow, because coming back late in the season is way trickier than some people maybe acknowledge. So I really feel for those two players specifically, because they're going to be big parts of the organization. But what that means in terms of the line combinations, I could absolutely see Nuge starting up on the first line. Him, McDavid, Hyman, we know that trio works. Maybe hasn't worked as well in the past couple of seasons as it did a handful of years ago, but I could absolutely see that starting, because they want an offensive option up there with Connor. Connor's obviously very comfortable playing with Nuge. Nuge knows where he wants him to be. So I could see them starting that way. I could also see them looking at this and being like, well, I know we wanted to take some salary cap space into the season and maybe leave the potential open for an early season trade, but if these guys are going to be out for a minute and the early report is late October, would that maybe increase the urgency on kicking tires on a guy like Vlad Tarasenko to see if he might be available at a reasonable dollar figure to bolster the offense in the top six with Matt Savoy on the shelf for a minute? I'm curious, but when it comes to the line combinations, I would bet Mike Babcock goes to the old standards to start the season, and we'll adjust from there.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think that there may be a Tarasenko, anywhere from Tarasenko to Curtis Lazar they may bring in, but they're Stan Bowman acquired Ike Howard. He played 29 games a year ago. They still don't have, the entire story on him. And if they were to fade him now, his trade value would be, far lower. Not that it's massive now, because people are in wait and see mode on him, but they're the team that gets to find out and to play him. The opportunity for guys like Quinn Hudson and Max Jones and others along those lines is also high. And with the penalty kill being impacted so much by the injuries, Savoy and Janmark are penalty killers who play over a minute. I wonder if this gives Josh Szymanski another maybe opportunity or a better opportunity to make the team even as a fourth line center.
I think so. And I think, I think Josh Szymanski showed well when he got some minutes late in the season last year. I think he's got the opportunity, but, somebody's going to have to step up, and we're going to have a next man up kind of mentality. And I think he is a perfect guy. I also wonder if a guy like Quinn Hudson will look at a hole in the roster and wonder if he can't fight for a spot against a player like Szymanski. So I do think the Oilers have a couple of up-and-comers who are right on the verge of trying to make the jump into the NHL. And I think competition in camp is good, but nobody's happy about losing some key players like the Oilers announced that they were yesterday. And the other angle I can't help but think about is, I do get a little down when I see injury announcements well before the season starts is, how serious are these injuries if we're announcing these publicly weeks before training camp starts? Because if my memory serves, that is a little bit newer of an announcement to announce an injury that early.
Oh, I agree. This is unusual. The Oilers, the go-to for the Oilers during the Chris Knobloch era was day to day, even if it was month to month.
Exactly. Yeah. So day to day could be 9 years, as we saw with Victor Arvidsson a couple of months ago. He might miss a week and it turned into 4 months. So I think that's always going to be part of the equation with pro sports. But I will admit that having the injury announcements that they were going to miss all of camp while we're still in August was a little troubling. It makes me worried that some of those injuries are a little bit more serious than maybe they would hope. I'm hoping the timeline of late October remains true, but with these, again, as you mentioned, day to day, week to week can turn into a lot longer if we're not careful. The best example last year, Jake Waldman was week to week for I think 3 months, and then they found out he had a hairline fracture. So I'm hopeful, knock on wood, it's nothing like that, but obviously concerning to get that kind of news before camp even starts.
Beg Milk, our guest from Daily Faceoff Edmonton on Sports 1440 and YouTube. I say this question because you and I have for years written, in-season, off-season, draft, free agency articles about the Oilers, and all summer, whether we've admitted it or not, the biggest problem with writing about the Edmonton Oilers is that Mike Babcock is unknown to us with this roster. So we can look back 10 years or his brief time in Columbus a few years back, but it's really very difficult to make any, strong conclusions. So it's been I have found this not necessarily frustrating. I don't know if that's the last word. Just it's elusive to find something that you feel is compelling enough, A, to write about, and B, that somebody might read and enjoy.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions, especially with the new coaching staff. We've got Mike Babcock, obviously, behind the bench. We got DJ Smith. We got a couple of new players in the mix who are going to be big parts of the questions that we all have about what this team is going to look like. Like, I'll be the first to admit, a guy like Ryan Shea, I didn't watch him a whole lot. And he's going to be a big part of this team's defense. And when you also have the new coaching in the mix, there's a lot of questions that will only be answered in time and after we see some repetition. The biggest one I have to start is if anybody's tune is going to change in camp about really wanting to play for a coach like Mike Babcock. He even said in his press conference, it's easy to say you want a hard-nosed coach when you're right in the middle of the offseason. It is a different thing to want that same thing when camp starts. So that's the first question, and then we'll wait and see how the rest play out.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. Like I've written a few articles where I've talked about, Babcock using ice time as a motivator, and people have reacted and said, hey, listen, that's a slippery slope as it comes to Babcock. But what are traditional coaching techniques vis-a-vis that are things that are beyond the pale? It's going to be very difficult. We can't really anticipate, a story or anything like that. It's going to be a very difficult process, not just for fans and for media, but also the players and management as well. I've said before, this team could win the Stanley Cup or they could fire the coach by Christmas. I think that's how wide the possibilities are.
I agree with you. And the best part about the Edmonton Oilers is any of those answers are plausible. Yep. It could be absolute chaos or it could be us ending up in jubilation come June when we're at the parade. So I'm really excited. We're in the middle of Kool-Aid season and I just can't wait to get going. We're only a couple of weeks away here. I'm tired of writing previews. I'm tired of talking bold predictions. I just want us to get going. I want us to have our events. I want us to get back to the regularly scheduled programming, and I'm just super excited for the next hockey season to start.
Are you surprised? It sounds like the Saturday night hockey broadcast, whatever they call it, it won't be highlight night in Canada, but we'll see what it is. It sounds like Ron McLean returns, and maybe some others don't, and it sounds like it might be somewhat similar to what we've seen. I thought we might see a change. Do you agree?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, it's even going to be weird not turning on CBC on a Saturday night and seeing Hockey Night in Canada there. So there's going to be a lot of changes. It's going to be interesting to see because obviously I read some of the reporting that you're speculating about with who's on the panel, even for those games. So it'll be interesting. It's going to be a change. And I don't know that it's necessarily a good one, especially when, Hockey Night in Canada has been a staple on CBC for feels like 1,000 years, my whole life, everybody's life. So I feel like at some points they're making it harder to watch the game that we all love instead of easier, and that's a challenge that the NHL is going to have to figure out.
Thanks for this. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week when we'll have more news to talk about.
Can't wait. Thanks, Al.
All right. There you go. Bag Milk from Daily Face-Off Edmonton. We're wondering about CBC. My guess is we'll see Anne of Green Gables. Look, I know people are always talking about CBC in a negative light. What CBC does is so well done. Arrow, Anne of Green Gables, all of the things that they produce are quality. They truly are. So whatever they do, it'll be great. And I'm always reminded of the fact that networks can run a movie and do really well and pay the rights to run the movie. It's a lot more expensive to run a hockey broadcast for sure. So I think the network will be okay, as will Sportsnet, obviously, because if they do it right, Saturday night on Sportsnet could be as powerful and last as long as Hockey Night in Canada did on CBC. And that is, with respect and apologies to Tommy Hunter and Mr. Dressup, that really was the longest running television show in this nation's history. And that is something for them to be very proud of. All right. On the way, we're going to talk a little bit more about the Edmonton Oilers. We're going to have your comments. And don't forget, we've got Declinations talking CFL at 1:40 today. Lowdown with Lowtide on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick.
You don't just need property services. You need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact, because our team is built on second chances, and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Krueger for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
Love Pro Wrestling. It's the only place you'll find lumberjacks, short kings, mad lads, and a high-flying goose. LPW 51 hits the Rec Room South Edmonton Common Friday, August 28th. After a shocking betrayal at LPW 50, Marsh the Specialist challenges Ty Jackson for the LPW Grand Championship. Plus, Rich King and lumberjack Larry Woods settled their rivalry with a last man standing match. Whether it's a family outing, date night, or drinks with friends, check out Edmonton's wildest party at Love Pro Wrestling. TixR.com/Love Wrestling.
Need an excuse to upgrade your ride? Well, we've got a few to share. Go Auto has over 18,000 new and used vehicles ready to test drive right now. With more than 70 locations, your perfect match could be closer than you think. A family-friendly SUV for soccer practice, a fuel-sipping commuter, or a hardworking truck that's ready for anything. Trusted brands and a team that's actually happy to help. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Thinking of growing your business? In partnership with Prairie's Can, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce is helping businesses explore new opportunities, new markets, and build connections through organized trade missions across Canada. Find the right mission for you at abchamber.ca/trade missions.
Feeling overwhelmed by debt? Concerned about what the next few weeks or months will bring for your finances? My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. You don't have to navigate this alone. Together, we can review your options and build a personalized plan to reduce your payments and get you out of debt, so you can breathe again. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
The Lowdown with Lowtide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. Who was that? I like that song.
Bruno Mars.
Man, that's good.
Yeah, he's a star.
Where is he from?
California, maybe?
Okay, all right. It kind of reminded me of Hot Stuff by the Rolling Stones. And a James Brown song, I can't remember. But it had real, like, funky stuff to it. Hawaii's basically California. There's just a little bit of water between them.
Just a touch.
Yeah. Have you been to Hawaii? I have not.
No.
Sad day. I have been to Maidstone, which is the
Pretty
prairies,
much.
the Hawaii of the prairies.
That's what they've been telling me.
Right. You ever been to Turtle Lake?
Maybe.
You know, you guys always put down North Battleford. I challenge you to drive to Turtle Lake, Saskatchewan. You turn left at Maidstone. You drive up to Turtle Lake, and you will fall in love with a prairie lake and lifestyle. Now, the cottages are more expensive than they were when I was a kid. I admit that. A little bit.
Just a touch? Just a whisper?
Just a hair. They've gone up in price. But what are you going to do? All right. Do you guys have a good weekend plan? You're probably heading up north to milk the cows.
No, she actually moves back she's coming back on Friday. So
life gets good for you.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I can see her whenever I want.
Yeah. Well, whenever, she wants to also see you.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
But like we have the freedom of choice now.
Right, exactly.
No, she moves back on Friday, and then my sister moves back on Saturday, so I'll help her out during the day. Then Nyla and I are going to the Alberta Basketball Hall of Fame Gala.
Nice.
So she's excited. We all get to get dolled up and stuff.
Do you have a nice
I have a suit.
Okay, there you go. What color?
Black.
That's terrific. Terrific.
Yeah.
Always dress like the royal family. They don't do anything else well, but the princes and the kings dress well.
Noted. And then Sunday, I'm pretty sure I have something, but I keep forgetting about it. So obviously it's not that important.
So, but it'll be the most important thing.
I'm pretty sure I have like 5 hours of work that I have to do.
Oh, well, there
for
you go.
a separate thing. So
I think that the Dungeons and Dragons thing.
No, not Dungeons and Dragons.
That's going to be an interesting thing for you where she says, hey, I don't have to do anything today. It's Sunday at 9:00. Maybe we can get together 10, go out for brunch or something. And you have to cancel your D&D and they'll hate you for it.
Whoa, no, 9:00 in the morning on a Sunday, 10:00 in the morning on a Sunday for brunch. I'm there. I don't play D&D till night during Sunday night football because I can watch the morning slate while we're at brunch. Then I can go home.
You've got your
my own
life straightened
football.
out. You're clearly a wise young man.
I do the best I can.
What about you, young Declan? You got a good weekend plan?
Oh, I think so. Nice week 0 college football slate. I probably I probably won't dive into that too much. My stepmom's having a birthday barbecue on Saturday, so I'll take part in that.
That's very cool.
But I keep it pretty low key. I don't do much. I'm not a very exciting guy.
What's on the menu for? Well, that's okay though. That's at your age, not being an exciting guy means that you're going to live long and prosper.
Right. I saw a tweet actually today that was going to the bars after the age of 26, and it was Klay Thompson in a Miami Heat jersey, which hit me roughly for 2 reasons. But yeah, so I just like to lay back, kick it at home.
Good for you.
Go for runs.
What's on the menu for the barbecue? Do you know?
So
tofu burgers and
No.
veggie dogs.
No, it'll be like that would be something my mom would probably do at my dad and stepmom's. I'm guessing like this is how I actually think it's gonna like I think they're going to preempt it and give us the understanding that it's burgers and dogs, and we're gonna get there and it's steaks and corn on the cob.
Nice. See, that's the trick right there.
Yeah.
Because you're walking in thinking hamburger, and then the slide piece is the steak.
Yeah.
So there's only like 12 of you going to this.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Otherwise, did they take out a second mortgage?
Yeah.
It's a 15. You got to do that.
Rikes.
Yeah. Okay. Where are we here? Bruno Mars is from Hawaii, and he's really good. The Beachcombers had a great run, 19 seasons. Oh, I watched it all the time. Relic, Molly's Reach, Bruno Gerussi. No one has watched CBC for hockey for 40 years. That's just not true, Ed. LT, no longer Hockey Night in Canada. That means Toronto doesn't get a 5 o'clock game every Saturday at home. Are you sure? That's ratings. That's money. That's advertisers. Advertisers want Toronto in Toronto on Saturday night. I don't think that's going to change. It drives a lot of the revenue of the league. You called it Lowtide. Hellebuck requested it out of Winnipeg. I got one wrong, and it would happen to be the one that I bet young Josh with. But as soon as it just feels like the political climate in North America added to what has been a building power base of scouts and players meant that, and then the Kachuks are the ones who broke it wide open, and we are now here. And I mean, we talked on Tuesday, and Donovan said he didn't think it would impact how Canadian teams draft or any of those things, and that may well be true. But I'll tell you something. If I've got a second overall pick, and the kid that I'm interested in getting is acting like Eric Lindros did, then I'm not picking him. I'm trading out. It's too important. It's too vital for you. You have to get that pick right, and it can't be some guy who's not going to play for you. You can't do the Elway. All right. Vegas in on Hellebuck? That's interesting. Vegas got a really good goaltender.
I mean, really good. He gave up the most goals any goalie ever has in a Stanley Cup final.
So you say.
And he did it in 5 games or whatever. That's bad. 6 games. My bad. My apologies.
Well, I think Vegas, they're so aggressive. I mean, you know.
So, I mean, like, I see a world where, I mean, Vegas, first of all, is a destination that he would waive his no move clause for.
Sure. And Vegas is so aggressive, they're going to kidnap the premier, you know, and then make the trade that way. Vegas is the most aggressive team I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. So I can see a world where they make that move.
Like they'll get a guy, they'll win a Stanley Cup, and they'll go, oh, we like this other guy, and they will make life miserable for the first guy till he leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah. Didn't Hellebuck just sign an extension?
Yeah, and it was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And Winnipeg was a little nervous about signing it. So I think they'll be happy to move him along, but it depends on what you get, right?
I saw a great thing out there, though, that was like, if you request a no-move clause in your contract and then you request a trade, your no-move clause should be null and void.
You know, I think that's something that could be included, but I mean, I honestly, if I was Gary, if I had the ear of Gary, I'd say, Gary, we outlaw no movement clauses because it just buggers the league up in terms of trades.
Yeah, and then you end up in a situation like this where, oh, man, he's only getting traded to a place he wants to go. And then when you're trading from a lower position of power like that, you do not get everything you want in return.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, no trade clauses or no movement clauses in any walk. Like, I got a no movement clause. You guys can't get rid of me.
That's nice.
Yeah. Trey says nobody asked LT what his plans are. At my age, it's a
Blues
victory.
on white.
It's a victory when I wake up. I was on Blues on White this summer, actually, just one time, but I did go.
You love Blues on White.
I love the live music and the beer. I don't drink beer very much anymore, but I had a.
That's all right. I'm drinking enough of it for both of us.
Well, you go fill your hat. I had a Big Rock Pale Ale for the first time in 25 years.
Good.
When I was out having a beer with Jansen a couple of weeks ago. And oh my God, you know, you haven't had something for a long, long time.
Yeah.
It's like strawberry margaritas. Oh my God.
I'm not quite there yet. I can't have not had anything for a long, long time. But I look forward to when I get there and I get to the closest I will have been is when I was like, oh, Sleeman's Honey Brown Lager. I like that. I haven't had it in a while. And then I bought a case of it in the bottle. So I was like, it's like I'm seeing God right now.
Yeah, it's fun to be your age. I will say that. You enjoy the hell out of that, sir. I don't understand Soggy Corpse. I'm sure it makes sense. It's just that I'm on the air right now, and I can't read difficult thoughts. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at Soggy Corpse's text.
Well, read it and tell me what it means.
Okay, is the government going to give me an extra hour of rebate sleep for not engaging with daylight savings time? Of course not. They're going to make me lose more with 9 p.m. starts in hockey. He wants to get an extra hour of sleep, but if the time's going to stay the same, in return for the not acknowledging daylight savings anymore in Alberta.
I remember years ago, the reason given for daylight savings time was that it was for the farmers, you know, get up with the cows. And then they asked a farmer, he said, well, cows don't move to daylight savings time, so it doesn't matter to us. But I like it because I like the long summer evenings of sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
And if in the wintertime, you know, Karen's going to get up and drive to work in the dark and come home in the dark.
Yeah.
She deserves to have some sunlight too. She might get scurvy.
Take some vitamin D pills. I do every day. So does Connor's young child, Benny. Which he was very quick to tell me when I said, oh, I take vitamin D. He's like, oh, so does Benny.
All kidding aside, that's a cute kid. It really is.
Good looking kid.
You know, well, you got lucky on the genetics thing where it looks more like the mom.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Do you look more like your mom or your dad?
I look more like my dad.
Right. I know that, but I was being nice. What about you, Declan?
Oh, I'm going to need a refresher.
Do you look more like your mom or dad?
I look like a perfect combo of both, but my dad, when he was younger, more of a spitting image of me, or I'm more of a spitting image of him.
Right.
Yeah. I remember the very first girlfriend I ever had in high school when she came over with her mom to our house just because her mom wanted to meet my parents. My dad came around.
He didn't trust you.
No, like it wasn't the first time she'd been dropped off at my house. It was just like, hey, maybe we should meet. Anyways, my dad walked around the corner and the girl's mom was like, oh my God, you guys look so much alike.
There you go. Dunner says, I've been an Oilers fan since day one. I can easily say the team I most despise isn't Calgary or Montreal or the Leafs. It's Vegas. If they get Hellebuck, I hope it's a disaster, Dunner. Well, Vegas is like, I think Vegas management is like every fan would like their team to be. And so I don't hate them. I respect them. But they are a pain in the ass. Afternoon, fellas. Fenny, don't fill your hat with beer. Too sweaty.
I imagine it'd be a little damp.
Yeah. Water. You could do water in the hat.
That'd still be a little damp.
But it's
but
more
it's not
refreshing.
much
It's
of a
not
waste.
sticky,
You know what I mean?
Al, don't rob yourself of something great, so great. You and I are from the same age group, and I long for my weekend evening craft brewery cold one. Cheers from Habman. Well, I enjoy it, but it sort of fills me up a little bit too, right?
Beer? I mean, yeah, it's supposed to. It's got carbs and stuff in there. I love going to breweries. One of my favorite things in the world. One of man's best creations, actually, is breweries.
Yeah, but they're quite popular, I understand.
I think there's like 21 of them around Edmonton.
Wow.
My buddy works at one in St. Albert, and they had like a punch card. All these places had secret beers. And a guy came in and was like, "Oh, I'll get my punch, please." And it was like 11 a.m. or something. He said, "Oh, yeah, just getting your first beer of the day or whatever." And he had like 17 punch outs of the 21 from every brewery. It's like, "Oh, man, you're making good work on this. Like, when'd you get it?" And the guy looked at him and said, "Yesterday." It's like, "Oh, yeah, brother, you're my hero."
There's only one time in your life where you can, like, after work, you go to the bar, you have a couple of drinks, and then you ease into the evening and you go, why don't I just stay a little while? Because you have no other responsibility. As you get older, there's, you take the kids to the park, or you're making supper, or maybe there's a, parent-teacher night, when you find out what your children have actually been doing. So this is the time of your life where you enjoy yourself, especially with your young lady. You can go and do all of those things, and it's wonderful. She's back in town. You've got a great fall and winter coming up.
Oh, yes, I do.
Yeah. Cows don't have watches. This just in.
Breaking. I'd always heard the rumor or whatever that the reason daylight savings time started and being recognized wasn't for farmers. It started in World War I, so that the Western Allies would like be up an hour earlier and could like
bludgeon the opposition.
Correct.
Right.
They could run across no man's land or whatever. Like they could go over the top, stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm always cynical about these kinds of stories because the victor gets to write the story.
It's entirely true.
Yeah.
But I know that daylight savings time wasn't recognized until World War I.
Right. Also, they did have cows in World War I.
This is true.
Right. So we'll never know.
Well, I guess we'll never know.
Right. We could ask Harry, as he was there, but he retired. So, okay, on the way, Declinations talking CFL. Lowdown with Lowtide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. Brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick.
You're getting the Lowdown with Lowtide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick.
1 in 3 Canadians aren't getting enough sleep. Let the Brick help you sleep better for less. Save 40% on the Steely Crown Jewel Resort mattress. Get sheets starting at just $49. And buy one pillow, get the second for just $10. Plus, take up to 55 months to pay with no interest and no money down. And with next day delivery in Edmonton, you can start sleeping better right away. Some conditions apply. OAC. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Action Electrical Solar Team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy, designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Photographers, start your cameras. Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest is back. We're asking you to show us the people, places, and moments that made you glad you chose this rural life. Maybe it's the view from your farm, a walk down Main Street, neighbors pitching in, a weekend at the rodeo, or a sunset down a back road. Share your photo to show why life in rural Alberta is a choice worth celebrating. Enter and vote at whatsyourshare.ca.
It might have been scraped by the snowblower, dented while door crashing,
or crunched at the company Christmas party. At some point over the winter, your car was damaged and it's been hiding under a coat of winter grime.
Then come and see Robertson Body Works. We can take care of the damage and the dirt. This week only, call and book a repair and get a complete auto detailing absolutely free.
But you have to book your appointment before the week is up. Go to robertsonbodyworks.com.
I'm Tim Robertson, and I fix cars.
Caesars is Alberta's anytime, anywhere sportsbook. Stay in the action with your favorite teams and players. Whether you're camping, kayaking, or catching a show this summer, bet wherever you are, whenever you want. Plus, Caesars Sportsbook offers fast payouts and flex parlays, a new way to keep your bet alive even if a pick misses. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app today.
Must be 18 or older and physically present in Alberta to gamble. Must be 21 or older to use Caesars Sportsbook. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. Please play responsibly.
They say if you look good, you play good. So why not upgrade your golf wardrobe at the Leduc Golf Club Pro Shop sale? They're slashing prices on all your favorite in-stock gear. Grab a new pair of shoes, a new glove, or pick up a fresh polo and accessories for up to 20% off. Don't wait. This sale ends soon, and when the inventory is gone, it's gone. Gear up for less at the Leduc Golf Club Pro Shop.
Missioner Island Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring articulated dump trucks, backhoes, dozer, excavators, forklifts, graders, loaders, man lifts, packers, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers. Info at maauctions.com.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowtide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
So hard.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440 at 1:44. On the way, Jason Gregor Show with Connor Halley. As we have Oiler news to talk about, Winnipeg Jets goaltender asking for a trade. Oh my, the NHL is back. Everybody's being paid well. Nobody's happy. It is time for Declinations, brought to you by the Edmonton Elks. The first half's done, but the Elks are just getting started. Lock in your 5-game ticket pack and receive $25 voucher. Get yours at goelks.com/tickets. Our city, our year. And now, talking CFL, Declan Krueger.
Whew, are they ever just getting started? I feel like they already have the West. I can't say wrapped up. It's too early for that, I think, but they built themselves such a good lead. And when you look at teams like Saskatchewan, who are now, like I said, they might have 5 of their 6 best players on the 6-game IL. Winnipeg, who is not what we've come to know from the last 6-7 years. Calgary, who I've described them as the best bad team I've ever seen, but still a bad team. And then BC, I guess, would be kind of the one that is waiting in the wings,
right.
And they're kind of getting a little bit healthier and they're playing well. They're only 5-5. You're 8-3. The thing with the BC one is, like, Edmonton's got 3 losses this year. The BC game was a tough one. Like, you lost to Montreal in pretty convincing fashion as well, but Montreal's the best team in the CFL. Like, when you lost to a healthy BC Lions, it didn't look good in a lot of respects. And the other game against BC where you beat them 19-17, but they had a backup quarterback in who threw 4 picks. So it doesn't inspire the most confidence. BC would be the one team I would be semi-worried about. But when you look at their
because
roster,
of the quarterback, right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Like, incredible quarterback over there in Nathan Rourke. And when you look at the Elks, like, this is why I think they're going to win the West. BC would have to go 8-0 over their next 8 games to finish 13-5. Edmonton just needs to go 4-3 to finish 12-6. Now, obviously, 13-5 is a higher win total than 12-6, but I don't think BC is going to go 8-0 the rest of the way. And I think 4-3 should probably be the floor for Edmonton down the stretch here. They have a tough game, presumably at the end of the season against Saskatchewan, who should be healthy. But you look at some of the games here, back-to-backs versus Calgary, Winnipeg, Toronto on the horizon. Like, you should be in a pretty good spot to win the West. And I just think that's such a testament to what this team is and what they've kind of overcome, if you will. Like, the spot they've built themselves into this point in the season, when really not a lot of people believed it was possible, is very, very impressive stuff.
It's just great. I'm very happy to be witnessing this because it was such a long road, and people really care about the Elks, and it's great. It's so long, man. It's been so long,
And kind of what everyone said, right? Like, people said if they start winning, they'll put butts in the seats, and that's what we've seen. We've seen 22,000 plus consistently. We've seen the upper bowl opened up with 32,000 for that Saskatchewan game. Obviously, Saskatchewan's not here every week, but like, the winning has galvanized fans and it has brought them back, and it's been really good to see. Some of the games across the league, because obviously Edmonton's on the bye this week. Look at Montreal and Winnipeg. Montreal going into this one, I believe, is a 7.5 point favorite. Montreal's the best team in the league right now. I don't think you're going to get any pushback on that, but it's so crazy to think that going into Princess Auto in Winnipeg, you can go there on the road, no matter how good you are, as a 7.5 point favorite. But it's kind of a testament to what Winnipeg's been at home this season, and moreover, what they've kind of become this season. And it started last year as well, but mostly this season. Hamilton, Calgary, they're playing this week. Calgary, best bad team I've seen in quite some time. Hamilton, probably just bad. Can't really figure them out. I will give Trey Ford this credit, though, because his last game out, week 12, he had 356 passing yards, and he aired it out with an average depth of 15.6 yards, including 14 attempts of 20-plus yards, the most by any quarterback since August 20th. Of 2023. So it feels like the Ticats, obviously he's not Bo Levi Mitchell, they'd love to get him back, but they seem to have some confidence in him, or at least between him and Harrison Frost, so much to the fact that they released Jared Dagey. Are they going to beat Calgary? I don't know. I would like Calgary seems a little inconsequential to me in the West. I think they're a tier below Winnipeg, BC, and Saskatchewan, and I think Edmonton's a tier above all of them. But them losing, it's never bad for another team in your division to lose. The Elks I'm talking about, of course.
Right.
Because it just keeps them further down the pecking order, and there's less room for them to come back and make something happen in the standings.
Yeah, that's fair.
Toronto and Saskatchewan, so beat up. You made the point. Well, who are they going to throw to? Keon is on the 6-game IL. Sam Amelis is on the 6-game IL. AJ Ouellette is on the 6-game IL. I like Del Duncan Busby and Keyshawn Johnson to get looks here. But this is a team, like, the injuries are really catching up to Saskatchewan. Like, they lost a game last week where they did not look competitive against the BC Lions. They lost again the week before that to the Hamilton Tiger Cats, a team who really isn't that good. The line right now is -5 for Saskatchewan. I actually think Toronto is going to go in there and beat them, believe it or not, which again, going to bode very well for the Edmonton Elks, because it's going to put a little bit more space ahead of them and a team in that second tier. The problem therein lies in the last game of the week, where BC is playing Ottawa. Ottawa 0-10. Can't see them getting a win here against a BC team that's playing very well and is getting healthy, like I mentioned. I think BC is the team you now have to worry about in the West if you're the Edmonton Elks. And the other thing I would say, just on this matchup really quickly, like, I've talked about this for a few weeks now. I really think 0-18 is on the table for Ottawa. Like, I really, really think they could do it. They're not going to be favored in any game, I couldn't imagine, barring something unforeseen. And when you watch them, it's the same story every game. They come out kind of fast and kind of competitive, and they'll put together a good opening drive. It'll seem, whether it's on the offense or defensive side of the football. And then throughout the game, they just get chipped away at and chipped away at and chipped away at and completely collapse. And in a 9-team league with a lot of parity year over year, it's tough to think of a team going 0-18, but I do legitimately think it's on the table for Ottawa. And it'll be something to watch as the season plays out.
It's, it's a 9-team league. In a way, what they're doing is impressive. Not the way you hope, but it's impressive. I mentioned this earlier, but
yes.
Going back to, like, when I was a kid watching the CFL, often the NFL cuts, I think back then they happened like earlier in the year, so it would be you'd have more time with the players for them to get ready by playoffs. But I remember George Brancato would often replace his entire offensive line. He just signed NFL cuts, and they were, better football players. It doesn't happen like that so much because of the nature of the NFL now. And taxi squads and such, and so many people signed to contracts. But do you see a particular area or a particular team in an area that maybe has a need that will be looking for players?
Yeah. So like the one thing is that teams are a little bit restricted by neg lists of not necessarily themselves, but of others. So that's something to factor in.
Yeah.
I would say the biggest, if you want to talk about an individual team right now, just look at Saskatchewan, look at wide receiver. Like that would be the number one team that comes to my mind. Generally speaking, I don't think you can ever have too many DBs, especially American DBs. And I don't think you can ever have too many offensive tackles. I think in the CFL, the offensive guards are generally those Canadian farm boys. Those tackles are generally Americans with a little bit more mobility. So those would be the two I would look at. I think people are quick to talk about wide receiver because there's just such an influx of the position down south. But I think it's really, really tough to come in to the CFL halfway through the season and have to learn like the waggle and the pre-snap motion and stuff like that. So I'm not saying stay away from wide receivers, but I just don't think it's a position that's targeted as much.
Stocky Corpse asked this question. I'd love to hear your comment on this. He said, I'm all in on the CFL with the success of the Elks. That being said, I want the goalposts to stay where they are. Catching missed field goals is electric, and it's also fun to see a quarterback doing one every once in a while. What do you think about the moving of the goalposts?
Vehemently disagree with it. Now, first, the missed field goal thing. Missed field goals are still going to be able to be returned. Now, it'll have to be a field goal being short, not being wide.
Right.
But that, can presumably happen, and there's no question it will be less to Soggy Corpse's credit. But the goal, it's just in the way too much.
Right.
Like, it is in the way on
people
goal
get
lines.
hurt,
Absolutely.
right?
Offense it's a huge disadvantage to the defense. Offense can use it as a screen. We've talked to Cody Fajardo about this. We've talked to coaches about this on Elks Nation, talking about like legitimately using it in offensive set. Like that's so unfair to the defense. When the quarterback hits it, that's just unbelievably unlucky, but it's something that I would stretch to say feels a little bit bush league. So to get it out of the play where it can like have a legitimate impact on the play, I think is great. The missed field goal things, electric plays, it's going to suck to see less of those, but they're not going to go extinct. It's just going to have to come in a different form.
See, to me, one injury every 5 years means that move the goalposts. It's not worth it.
I agree. And just like the way you can use it as a screen and the way like your safety can't get downhill on a third and goal from the one or has to line up somewhere he's uncomfortable with. It's very Canadian, and I never love anything that changes an aspect of the game that is super Canadian, but I think this is a welcome change.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's okay. And as we warm up to the rule changes, I think I'm less, outraged than I was at one time. I enjoyed that. I'm excited about the CFL. Not that I'm not always. I love the CFL. I watch it all the time. I was happy for Saskatchewan fans last year. I'll be thrilled for Edmonton Elks fans when they win it again, because this has been a long wait. Historically speaking, since I became an Eskimo fan about like 73 or so, Lemmerman was the quarterback. It's not a long stretch between Grey Cup victories. But for Rough Rider fans who, if anything, are at least as passionate as Elks fans, when Elks fans are at their highest moment of passion, it's a long time off in between drinks. So last year was fun because the Flatlanders got to win one. And, the history of the Saskatchewan Roughriders is some really, really tough treading. And they didn't win in the 60s because they had to play 2 games in the Western Final and then go out to play a team that had only played 1 game to get through the Eastern Final. And it did have a lot of impact on who won out there during those years. Are you? I've been talking during your segment. Are you?
No, I was all wrapped up.
Okay. Bobby says, "Good afternoon, Lowtide et al. Where is it written hockey games should start at 7:30 or later? In this age of streaming and multiple screens, games should start by 7 at the latest. I will honestly not be able to watch a full game when it starts at 9, more likely 9:15 from Bobby. Well, Bobby, it's coming. So, I understand you're complaining, and I get it. I won't watch some games too. I'll have to tape it and watch the next day. But the world should be turning, and it's not in our direction. The olds are going to have to adjust. All right, on the way, speaking of young people, Connor Halley sitting in for Jason Gregor, and the Jason Gregor Show straight ahead. Please enjoy your day, and thanks for tuning into the Lowdown.
The Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. For your next move in the Edmonton or area, get the home team advantage and call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. Connor Hellebuck officially requesting a trade out of Winnipeg. In NHL news elsewhere in the NBA world, the Toronto Raptors to raise Kyle Lowry's number 7 to the Raptors on January 10th. Leonard Williams signing a 3-year, $90 million deal with the Seattle Seahawks to remain with the club. MLB scores right now. See the Cardinals lead the Orioles 6-1 in the middle of the 6th, while the Nats lead the Rockies 7-1 at the end of the 8th. Blue Jays will be in action at 5:07, playing host to the Royals. Arrighetti on the mound in that one. Late game tonight in the league, seeing the Diamondbacks and the Giants. No Canada today in the Little League World Series, but there are 2 finals. Japan over Nicaragua 4-1 and Ohio over Iowa 7-1. WNBA action will go at 6 with the Valkyries and the Liberty. At 8 o'clock, we'll see the Mystics and the Mercury. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.